Welcome to all of you. Today we are going to discuss the topic that is periodic properties part 2. Already we have discussed some important periodic properties in the last class. So what are the periodic properties? How it changes along the groups and period we will discuss. We know elements are arranged in increasing order of atomic number as per the modern periodic tables. So important periodic property is ionization energy. Ionization energy, it is expressed in the unit as kilojoule per mole. What is ionization energy? It is the energy required to remove electrons from isolated gaseous atom or ions. That means how much energy is utilized to remove electron from the outermost shell. That means it may be atom or ions. As electron is tightly bonded by the nucleus, so it requires some amount of energy to remove the electron. That energy is called ionization energy. It is expressed in the unit kilojoule per mole. And what are its trends? How it changes along the groups and periods? Let us discuss. In the group, as size increases along the group, so the attraction between the electron and nucleus will be less. That's why less amount of energy is required to remove the electron. That's why from top to bottom the ionization energy decreases. As size increases, the attraction between nucleus and outermost electron will be decreased. That's why ionization energy decreases from top to bottom. Similarly, from left to right, as the size decreases, so ionization energy increases because attraction increases. So what are the factors affecting ionization energy? First is greater the size, lower the ionization energy. Very important to remember, when size increases, ionization energy decreases because attraction between nucleus and electron decreases. For examples, group 1 has lower ionization energy than group 2 because group 1 has larger size compared to group 2. This is the logical answer. Then second factor, stable electron configuration. If atom has stable electron configuration, then ionization energy will be high because stable electron configuration means it has less tendency to lose electron. That's why ionization energy required, more amount of ionization energy required to remove the electron from the stable atom. For example, noble gases have a very high ionization energy because due to stable electron configuration. Similarly, between nitrogen, oxygen and carbon, although nitrogen is a larger size than oxygen, but it has high ionization energy because due to stable electron configuration nitrogen. Nitrogen has stable electron configuration because it has 2p3 configuration. 2p3 means half filled. P has 6 electron, it has capacity 6. 3 means it is half filled. A half filled state means stable. That's why nitrogen has stable electron configuration, half filled configuration. That's why very high ionization energy compared to which one? Oxygen and carbon. Then ionization energy of group 2 is greater than group 1. That is the first ionization energy of group 2 is greater than group 1 because group 2 has NH2 configuration. Already we have discussed. Group 2 has NH2 configuration. That means S carry 2 electron which is stable. That's why to remove the electron from S2 required more energy. That's why the first ionization energy of group 2 is greater than group 1. But just alternatively, second ionization energy of group 1 is greater than group 2 because second ionization energy of group 1 means already it is stable configuration. That's why to remove electron require more energy. So very important comparison. First ionization energy of group 2 is greater than group 1 due to stable electron configuration, and second ionization energy of group 1 is greater than group 2 due to also stable electron configuration. Then another important is more penetrating effect. If the orbital is more penetrated towards the nucleus, then ionization energy is more. That means S greater than P greater than D greater than F. That means for the same cell, for example, in the same cell, if you remove electron from S, then it required more energy compared to P, then D, then F. So more penetrating effect, more ionization energy. Then more shielding effect, less ionization energy. Because shielding effect means it opposes the attraction between the electron and the nucleus. That's why more shielding effect, more obstruction between the electron and nucleus. So ionization energy required less. So more shielding effect, less ionization energy. Ionization energy decreases from top to bottom because due to increasing shielding effect. Then successive ionization, very important point, this point one, please note this one. Successive ionization energy always increases. For particular atom, remove first electron, second electron, third electron, the ionization energy successively increases. Because when you remove the first electron, then effective nuclear charge increases. Then again remove second electron, again Z effective increases. So as Z effective increases to removing electron one by one, that's why attraction between the outermost electron and nucleus increases. That's why more amount of energy is needed to remove the next electron. That's why I1 is less than I2, less than I3, less than I4, like this. That means successive ionization energies increases because the effective nuclear increases with removing the electron from the outermost shell. So this is regarding the ionization energy. What is ionization energy? What is the unit of ionization energy? Then how it trends along the groups and periods. Then what are the factors of ionization energy we discuss. Then next is, that is very important, is electron affinity. What is electron affinity? Electron affinity is the energy release in ionization energy required, but here just opposite, energy released during the addition of electron to the isolated gaseous atom ions. When you add electron to the atom, the nucleus attracts the electrons. During the attraction, it releases energy. This energy is called electron affinity. So electron affinity nothing but the energy released. But ionization energy is the amount of energy needed, required. So this is the difference. The unity of electron affinity is same as ionization energy, that is kilojoule per mole. And for example, you see A plus E changes to A minus and A. Here what happens? The amount of energy released due to attraction, that is called electron affinity. Then how it changes along the group and periods, let us discuss. Along the group, as size increases, so ionization energy decreases because attraction decreases, less amount of energy released. This is the cause. More size, less low electron affinity. Less size from left to right, size decreases, so attraction increases, so electron affinity increases. So this is the just same as ionization energy. From top to bottom decreases and left to right increases. And what are the factors regarding electron affinity? Just you see. Greater the size, lower is the negative value of electron affinity. We know as electron is energy is released, that's why it is negative sign. Electron affinity is always minus sign because amount of energy is released. So as the size is more, then greater the size, lower is the negative value of electron affinity. That means less amount of energy is released. Larger size, less electron affinity. That means the amount of energy released is less. So minus sign is less. For example, group 1 electron affinity is less than group 2, like this. So increases from left to right along the periods because already discussed. Then second factor is stable electron configuration. If atom has stable electron configuration, then the electron affinity is less because it has less tendency to accept electron. But to add electron for the stable atom, we require some extra energy to add electron. That's why for stable atom, the electron affinity is always positive sign. This point, you should note this point. For stable electron configuration, the electron affinity is positive because some extra energy is needed to add the electron to the nucleus so that the amount of energy will be positive sign. So noble gases has positive electron. All noble gases have positive value of electron affinity due to stable electron configuration. Then successive electron affinity becomes more positive. Very important. If you add, just already discussed, if you remove electron from atom one by one, the ionization energy is increasing. Here electron affinity, if you add one by one, the successive electron affinity, positive value of electron affinity, that means successive electron affinity becomes more positive. That means to add first electron, that amount of energy release. If you add the second electron, then the amount of energy will be more positive, because as the added electron will repel the next electron. So during the successive addition of electron, the repulsive force between the electron present in the outermost shell and the added electron is increasing. That's why the electron affinity is increasing, the positive value is increasing, because to overcome the force of repulsion between the added electron and our outermost electron, we have to use some energy. That's why successive electron affinity always increases, but successive ionization energy also increases. Then, for example, chlorine, fluorine, bromine, iodine. But here, fluorine has a low electron affinity compared to chlorine, because here same, although small size, it should have high electron affinity, but fluorine has low electron affinity due to what happens? As it has a low electron affinity, because due to electron repulsion. Fluorine is smaller in size, so the electron repulsion is more between the added electron and outermost electron. That's why less amount of energy released compared to chlorine. That's why the electron affinity order is chlorine greater than fluorine, then bromine and iodine. So chlorine is low electron affinity due to small size and more electronic repulsion. Very important, that is answer. Explanation, you have to remember this thing. For example, oxygen has low negative electron affinity than sulfur. Although oxygen is smaller than sulfur, but it has low electron affinity, because due to electron repulsion, the added electron and the outermost electron of oxygen, due to small size, repulsion is more. That's why less amount of energy is released. That's why oxygen has low electron affinity than sulfur. That means the negative value of electron affinity of oxygen is less compared to sulfur. So these are the important factors and these trends along the groups and periods about the electron affinity. Next important is electronegativity. What is electronegativity? Electronegativity is the tendency of an atom to attract the bonded pair of electron towards it. When the atom forms covalent bond with other atoms, then the shared pair of electron, the bonded pair of electron, will remain in between the atoms. If the bonded pair of electron is attracted towards the particular atom, this tendency is called electronegativity. That means when the bond is formed between two different atoms, then one atom attracts the bonded pair of electron towards itself. This nature of attraction of bonded pair of electron towards itself is called electronegativity. Generally, it is observed in case of covalent bond when it is formed between the two different atoms. For example, you see it is one atom and this is the white sphere is one atom and yellow sphere is another atom, and in between these two spheres, two electrons it is shown. You see when you see this electron, this bonded electron is attracted towards the yellow sphere, because yellow sphere has a high electronegativity. Again, I am repeating this one. Just you see how it is attracting, the yellow sphere is attracting the bonded electron towards itself. Just you see again, like this, it is attracting. When electron will be attracted towards the particular atom, the electron from where it is removed, it become partially positive charge. Then when the electron attracted towards the atom, it become partially negative. So yellow become partially negative and white become partially positive. This is the charge produced due to displacement of electron. Then how it changes along the group? Electronegativity, as size increases, electronegativity decreases. Attraction decreases because size is larger. But along the period, as size decreases, electronegativity increases. So remember, along the group it decreases. Everything depends upon the size. As size increases, electronegativity decreases. As size decreases, electronegativity increases. Then fluorine is the most electronegative atom, because due to small size, high affinity towards electron, because it has 7 electron outermost shell. That's why a highly electronegative element is fluorine, and the value is 4. So electronegativity of the atom is measured by different scale, by different scientists. One is Pauling scale, then is Mulliken scale. In Pauling scale, it is expressed like this. electron affinity of two bonded atom will be Ea minus Eb. That means electron affinity of atom A and atom B, the difference is equal to the bond dissociation bond energy of D, bond energy of AB atom minus half of bond energy of A molecule and plus bond energy of B molecule. That means the electron affinity, electronegativity can be calculated. Electronegativity can be calculated by taking this formula: bond energy of AB molecule and bond energy of A2 molecule and bond energy of B2 molecule. If you use this formula, you can calculate the electronegativity of the two atom difference. Similarly, for a particular atom, for a single atom, this is the first case, is the difference of electronegativity. The second case, for calculation of electronegativity of any atom, we can use this formula: 0.0336 into ionization energy of the atom plus electron affinity. When the electron affinity and ionization energy is known, just you add and divide 2, then minus 0.165. This will give the electronegativity of the particular atom. So this formula we can remember for calculation of electronegativity of the atom. So this is regarding this. Then what are the factors for electronegativity? Factors is greater the positive charge, greater will be the electronegativity. Already if it carry more positive charge, then attraction will be more. That's why electronegativity will be more. For example, ferric ion has more electronegativity than ferrous ion. Ferric ion has more electronegativity than ferrous ion because ferric ion carry more positive charge, that is +3, compared to ferrous ion, which is +2. That's a more positive charge, more electronegativity. Another thing is, small is the size, and more electron. Already we have discussed from left to right that size decreases, that's the electronegativity increases. Then another important thing is, if a particular atom, in a bonded atom, has more S character. If S character, you know, S orbital, P orbital, D orbital, F orbital, if S character is more, then electronegativity will be more. This thing is very important, we have to remember. Then another thing is, this is regarding electronegativity. Then another is metallic nature. Already we have read in junior classes that when the size increases, your metallic character increases. Then when size decreases, that is left to right, so metallic character decreases. That's why in the periodic table, the left sides are metals and the right sides are non-metals. Because left to right size decreases, so metallic character increases. What are the factors regarding the metallic nature of the elements? Greater the size, greater the metallic nature. Larger the size, larger metallic character. Smaller the size, smaller, lower with the metallic character. Lower the ionization energy. If ionization energy, particular atom, low ionization energy, then metallic character. If you compare between sodium and potassium, potassium has low ionization energy, so potassium is more reactive, so more metallic. So lower is the ionization energy, more will be the metallic character. More is the Z effective, less is the metallic nature. If Z effective is more, then the tendency to lose electron will be less. That's why metallic character will be less. So more Z effective, less metallic nature. So group 1 metallic character is group 1 is greater than group 2, group 3. As from left to right, the size decreases, so metallic character decreases. That means Z effective is increases, that's why metallic character decreases from left to right. So these are regarding the metallic nature of the elements and how it changes around the groups and periods. Then about the non-metallic, just opposite. Non-metallic character from top to bottom decreases as size increases. From left to right, the non-metallic character increases. That's why almost all non-metals in the right side, because they are smaller size, so non-metallic character is more. What are the factors of the non-metallic character? Just opposite of the metallic character. Greater the size, lower is the non-metallic character. Greater the electron affinity, greater the non-metallic character. If electron affinity is more, non-metallic character will be more. More is the Z effective, then more of the non-metallic, because the tendency to attract electron is more. So then these very important factors, if you remember the metallic character, just opposite is non-metallic character. That's a group 13 is group 13 is less non-metallic than 14, 15, 16 and 17. So 17 means halogen family is more non-metallic character, more non-metallic than the group 13. So this is regarding the factors affecting non-metallic character. Then basic nature of oxides. If you see basic nature of oxides and hydroxides is same as you remember metal. If metallic character is more, then size is more, then automatically basic character will be more. So along the group it increases, the nature of basic nature of oxides and hydroxide increases, left to right it decreases because the size decreases. What are the factor of basic nature of oxides and hydroxide? Greater the size, more metallic character of oxides and hydroxide. For example, sodium hydroxide is less basic than KOH and rubidium hydroxide. As sodium, potassium, rubidium size increases, basic character of oxides and hydroxide increases. Remember this thing. More the size, more is the basic character. Sodium hydroxide is more basic than magnesium hydroxide and aluminum hydroxide because sodium, magnesium, aluminum as size decreases, basic character decreases. So this is the just opposites. More the charge on the metal atom, less is the basic character. Very important. If the atom carry more positive charge, then if the metal or particular central atom carry more positive charge, then basic character will be less. The oxides and hydroxide basic character is less. This is very important, we have to remember. More the charge on the central atom, more less will be the basic character. Then some metallic oxides and hydroxides are amphoteric. Remember aluminium oxide, aluminium hydroxide, zinc oxide, tin oxide, lead oxide. These are the basic. These are the amphoteric oxides. Amphoteric oxides means it is showing both acidic and basic character. Both acidic and basic character it shows. Remember aluminium oxide, zinc oxide, tin oxide, lead oxide, aluminium hydroxide. These are the amphoteric character. Okay. Then next is your acidic nature of oxide. Just opposite. What is acidic character? Here as the size increases, as the size increases, then acidic nature decreases. Just opposite. Here from top to bottom size increases, that's why acidic nature of oxides generally decreases. But left to right as size decreases, acidic character increases. So what are the factors? Greater the size, less will be the acidic nature. More is the charge, just opposite of the basic character. More is the charge, then more is the acidic character. That's why B2O3, CO2, NO2, Cl2O3 like this, from boron to halogen, boron, carbon, nitrogen, halogen, their acidic character increases due to decreasing size. This is very important. As the size decreases and also acidic character increases. Then for example, having same element chlorine, Cl2O3, Cl2O5, Cl2O7. Here the same chlorine atom, but what is the difference here? This chlorine carry +3 charge, second chlorine carry +5 charge, and third chlorine carry +7 charge. As the charge is increasing, as the positive charge already we discussed in the factor, as the charge will be more, then acidic character will be more. Another thing, remember, very important thing, when the number of oxygen atom increases, when the number of oxygen increases, then acidic character also increases. Because oxygen when increases, the charge will be increased. That's why more is the number of oxygen atom, more is the acidic character. So remember this thing is very important regarding the acidic nature and basic nature of oxides. Then electropositive nature. What is electropositive nature? Already you have read in junior class, that is class 10. Tendency to lose electron and to form positive ion. Some atom has tendency to lose electron, maybe more or less. This tendency to losing electron is called electropositive nature. It is almost, we can say, metallic character. More metallic character, more electropositive character. If you remember this trend, it will be better for you. More metallic character, more electropositive character. So along the group, as metallic character increases, so electropositive character increases. Along the period, as metallic character decreases, so electropositive character decreases. So what are the factors? More metallic character, more electropositive nature. So that's why cesium is the most electropositive metal, because due to more metallic character. Cesium is the most electropositive metal due to more metallic character. Then similarly, electronegative nature, just opposite, tendency to gain electron and to form negative ions. This thing is observed by only non-metals, because non-metals have tendency to accept electrons. That's why from top to bottom, size increases, non-metallic character decreases, that's the electronegativity decreases. But from left to right, as size increases, non-metallic character increases, that's why electronegative character, electronegative nature increases. So this is the very important comparison, electronegative character. Then more non-metallic, more electronegative. Just already we have discussed, more metallic, more electropositive, more non-metallic, more electronegative. Then which atom is the most electronegative atom? And fluorine, because a high tendency to gain electron, because it has only one electron shortage to satisfy the noble gas configuration. That's why fluorine is the most electronegative non-metals. Then very next thing is very important regarding the IPC name of elements. How can we give the IPC nomenclature of the elements? Common name already you know, but what is the IPC name? IPC means International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. That is some rules are implemented, some rules are derived. This as per the rules, the nomenclature of the elements are given. But during the nomenclature, one thing we have to, you see what are the atomic number of the elements. From atomic number we can give the nomenclature, but this rule is applicable from the elements more than 100. The atomic number of elements more than 100, it is applicable. Suppose the atomic number if contain the digit is 0, the name is nil, abbreviation is N. Similarly, if number is 1, it is called, name is un, that is symbol is U. Like this, 2 by B, 3 try T, like this. So these are the some important name of digit and their IPC name and abbreviation. Digit 0 to 9 and their IPC name and abbreviation. Suppose 9 is called N, so E. So 8 OCT, O, like this. You have to remember these are the digits and their name and abbreviation. Then you can give the IPC nomenclature. What are the examples? Let us discuss. Suppose 101. Atomic number is 101. 100 means 101. 101 means 101. 10 means 1. 1 means UN. Then 0 means nil. Nil means Ni. 1 means symbol is UN. 0 means NIL, nil. So 1 means UN. Then IUM. So what is the name of 101? What is the IPC name of 101? Unilunium. Unilunium means 1 means UN, 0 means nil, again 1 means un. So unilunium. Unilunium. This is the symbol is UNU. 1 means U, 0 means N, 1 means U. So UNU, this is the symbol of the 101. Name is unilunium, but actually now it is called as mendelevium. Mendelevium is the common name that we have given as per the name of scientist. But IPC name is, it follow the rules. 101 unilunium, 102 unilvium, UNB, 103 unilitrium. Unilitrium, that is okay. So like this 104. Suppose 104 is 100 means 104. So unil quadium. QUAD is 4. QUAD, this is the name of the 4. So uniliquadium, that is UNQ, like this. So for example, come to 118. 118 is 118. 118 means 1 is UN, second one is UN, and 8 means OCT. Already just I am going just again showing the previous slide. You see 8 means OCT. So you have to write like this. So 1 is UN, 1 is UN, and 8 is OCT. So it is called uniunitium. Uniunitium. It's like this. So symbol is UUO. 1 means U symbol, and 8 means O. So these are the very important IPC nomenclature rules to give the nomenclature of elements having atomic number more than 100. So, and there it has specific common name. You have to remember now also every elements, about 120 elements have been discovered, their atomic number, their common name and their IPC name already given. So you have to practice this thing. Then another thing is very important regarding how to know the position of elements in the periodic tables. I can know the position of elements periodic table. As the position means in which group, which period, which block it is present. So for this we have to know some rules. What is the rules? Let us discuss. For identifying the groups, to know the groups we have to see these rules. Number of outermost electron for S block. If the elements in S block, then only number of outermost electron in N. That is, in outermost N, that means outermost S block means it is present in electron present in S subcell. That's why number of outermost electron, that is symbol is N, in S block, for only S block, how many outermost electron present, that is equal to number of, we'll discuss the example, that is equal to groups. But for a P block it will be 10 plus N, number of outermost electron plus 10 you will add. This is for P block. And for a D block we have to take N-1D and NS both. Outer NS and inner N-1D electron both will be counted for calculating the group. So for S block only N value, number of outermost electron. For P block 10 plus N, number of outermost electron plus 10. And for D block will be number of electron in NS and N-1D, both will be considered. Then for period, equal to outermost cell the electron occupies. That means in which outermost cell last electron occupies, that is equal to period. It is very easy to know. Then block, then last electron goes to which subcell. If it is added in S block, that is S subcell, that is S block. If you added in P subcell, that is P block. If you added it goes to D subcell, so D block. So like this we have to follow the rules. Then let us discuss the example. You see, first example, sodium. Sodium atomic number is 11. 11 means 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. We know this is electronic configuration of sodium. 11, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. This is the electron present in different cell. K cell contain 2 electron and L cell contain 8 electron and third cell M cell contain 1 electron. But where it is available? This last electron enter in S subcell. That's why only you have to count the number of outermost electron. As it has 1 electron in S, that's why it is first group. Already I have told for S block equal to number of outermost electron. As it carry 1 electron, that's why it is first group. And last electron present in third cell, that's why period third. As last electron enter in S subcell, that's why S block. So sodium position is first group, third period and S block. Similarly come to scandium. Scandium is D block, transition element. As is a transition element, here electron we have to consider D and S both. Both will be considered. For transition element, for D block elements, you have to consider both D and S. S contain 2 electron and D contain 1 electron. Total electron how much? So N-1D electron plus NS electron. So N-1D means 3, N means 4. So it contains 1 and 2. S contain 2, D contain 1. Total is 3. So group is third group. Total electron in D and S will be counted for calculating the groups. But period, where is the last subcell? As last subcell is S and S is cell is 4. So fourth period. And last electron enter into D. Actually it is in the configuration it is shown 4s, but after filling 4s electron goes to D. D filled in the last. That's why it is shown in the inner, but electron gets filled, the last electron enter into D, not in S. That's why you have to remember for transition elements, for D block elements, last electron enter into D. That's why it is a D block. D block. So scandium present in third group, fourth period and D block. Then come to sulfur. Sulfur atomic number is 16, so it is written as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. So it contain outermost how many electron in outermost cell? Outermost cell contain 3 3. So 4 plus 2. Outermost cell electron is 2 plus 4. Both will consider. So because 3 3, so total 6. But as per our rule, for p block element as last electron in p subcell, so both 10 plus number of outermost electrons. Your number of outermost will be 6 and again you add 10, so 16. So group is 16 because total number of outermost electrons 6. As it is a p block, then 10 will be added, so 16 is the group. Period, as it you see 3 means third period. As last electron entered in p subset, so p block. So like this, you practice more to know the position of elements in periodic table. So these are the today's class. This is about the some important properties and the IPC nomenclature and to know the position of elements in the periodic table. Okay, practice more. Thank you.